Sharon.
So this might not be a very popular question, but right now, with both the county and the city, UTVs, side-by-sides are being singled out as the cause of all the noise around here.
Right.
Where do you guys stand on regulating user groups? You know, can you legally say side-by-side UTVs can only do it this time of day, these days of the week, when motorcycles make just as much noise? Jeeps, there's a lot of Jeeps that are running around that make just as much noise and go faster. Come by my house sometime. The Hummers, the big vehicles that are out now on the tour companies have. I mean, these are all making noise. Where do you guys stand on, I mean, should we be singling out one user group?
Agreed.
I'll let Stephen go first on this one.
Perfect. So personal experience, my dad has a Harley. It is loud, like terrifying loud.
I'm from Sturgis.
Yeah, there you go. So perfect, you know. Here's the thing. With any type of law, if anybody wants to make a law, it's really great if they make a law, but it's worthless if there's no enforcement. I don't know how you police this. The only way that I could conceptualize policing UTVs, there are certain vehicles in town, when they come into town, they have to have a permit, right? They have to go get a permit. Now, the reason why I think you could pick on them easier, and I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, but through that permitting process, you could, you know, try to monitor noise. Is that something that I personally have a beef against? I haven't had complaints. For me, where I live, and I live on Rose Tree, I don't hear the UTVs frequently. And so it's not something that I personally feel the bleed of. I just am being realistic. When my dad starts up his Harley and he's near here, it's loud, but the neighbors can't run out and call the police on us. And so I understand that people are really upset. I think one of the things, and I've gone door to door with a mask, walking around and knocking on them, down near Dave's Corner Market, I'm pointing west or east. Anyways, down near Dave's Corner Market, there's a small cul-de-sac if you're going southbound and you just miss the turn for Slick Rock. There's a little cul-de-sac there, the Seacrest, where they used to have ostriches back in the day. And people miss the sign, they don't see Slick Rock, and they turn down, they flip around, and they go out. And they make a bunch of unnecessary noise. I'm all for putting better signage in the area and telling people, hey, look, Slick Rock is this way. Moab's small, but we can help people, help people get to where they're going, because I don't think the UTVs in town, their goal is not to rev around town and do donuts in town. It's to go out and get on the trails. So I think signage could help for that. Personally, I don't have a huge problem with UTVs, and I'm realistic on the fact that it's really difficult to police this, and we don't have enough law enforcement or staff to be able to enforce it. So is it something that I am personally going to run into office and change overnight? No, that's not one of the things that I'm really passionate about.
Kevin,
you mentioned the permitting. The OHV permits are only for non-street legal vehicles now. So, because we see them here at the MEC all the time when they come in. It used to be, almost just certain states needed them. Now, every state, if you're non-street legal license plated, and that's the one thing that, like my staff, we have to make sure people are license plated, not just street legal or stuff on their vehicle, but they have to be license plated in their home state. And that's where I'm having a problem with hearing some of the stuff that the city and county want to do, is these are street legal vehicles. How do you tell a street legal vehicle you can't ride on our streets? And that's one of the issues.
Okay, I'm going to give Kevin a chance to respond to what you asked initially. Kevin, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so I think the initial question was about distinguishing between different types of vehicles. And I agree that, if there's going to be, for example, a local noise ordinance, it's going to apply to Harleys just as much as it does to UTVs. And there are things, but it just so happens that, one of my hobbies is electronic gadgetry. And then over the past few weeks, I've had a noise monitoring device out on the field in Mill Creek. And what it does is every time the decibels exceed a certain threshold, it takes a short video of what's causing the noise on the street. And we're still analyzing the data, but I can tell you that, you know, a pretty high percentage of the loud stuff on the streets is UTVs. They're not louder than Harleys, but there's more of them. And that's why people are upset. So I think we definitely need to do something to get the noise under control. I've lived in Moab for 30 years and I've never heard people complain, you know, as much as anything as they are about this vehicle noise. And it doesn't affect the whole valley, but it affects quite a bit of it. People on Cane Creek complain, Mill Creek Drive in that area complain. People on Spanish Valley Drive, you know, pretty far out in the valley, you get a lot of complaints from them too. It's saying they can't sit out on their porches anymore. And these complaints span the political spectrum. So inevitably, you know, something's got to happen. You know, a lot of towns, including towns in Utah, have noise ordinances with a specific decibel meters, decibel levels that you can't exceed. And I think that's one thing we should try, in addition to asking the state legislature to, you know, give us back the right to determine, you know, what kind of vehicles are street legal on our streets. I guess I also wanted to respond. Someone made the comment about, you know, how can you regulate a street legal vehicle? And they're regulated all the time. Like if someone makes an improper left turn and they get pulled over, they don't get to say, hey, I'm street legal. You know, it's the way the vehicle's operated, and the amount of sound it produces is the way you operate a vehicle. And so that can certainly be regulated.
Okay. Thanks, Kevin. Any other questions from the board?
Yeah, I got a question for you guys. This is Jason Taylor.